Hello everybody, welcome to Absolute Sim Racing, where the Austrian hills are alive with the sound of BSR MX5 action here at the Red Bull Ring. I'm Edward May. Joining me in the commentary box for the first time this season is the wonderful Alex Everett. And Alex, we're on for some amazing racing here. The Red Bull Ring, formerly known as the Österreich Ring, then the A1 Ring, and then when it was bought out in 2011 by Red Bull Consortium, it's now known as the Red Bull Ring, a venue that's very, very popular for fans of that particular energy drink, maybe their affiliated sports teams as well. Obviously, having hosted 2 rounds of the Formula 1 World Championship this season, plays host to the 7th round of the BSR SIM3D MX5 trophy. You can see the cars there out on the way through for their outlaps before getting underway in qualifying for this 4.3 kilometer long circuit in the hills surrounding the city of Spielberg. And Alex, welcome to the commentary box for your first time here in the BSR SIM3D MX5 trophy. I definitely think you've got a lot of action to look forward to.
Oh, absolutely. I can't say I'm a newbie to BSR. I've had my fair share of experience with BSR in the past with the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship back in the day, and of course this MX5 series, which has been around for a very, very long time, it's got to be said. So I'm very much looking forward to my reunion with the organisation here, and what a track to have that reunion on. Fairly new track to the iRacing circle. A brilliant track, and I think for these cars it's going to be extra special as opposed to Formula 1, where the corners come at you very, very quickly. It's quite a fast and sweeping circuit when you're driving in the MX5s here, so it should be very good. A wide track as well, going to see plenty of side-to-side action. Oh, I can't wait for this. 4 races as well. You're in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well, he's going to be having plenty to look forward to here, of course, with this first grid based on qualifying. Means that drivers will be really fighting through to try and find the track space to try and see if they can get any luck with slipstream in front, because you do spend a considerable amount of the lap time here at the Red Bull Ring flat out, foot to the floor. Any slipstream you can gain will help you out to no end, that's for certain. We're just seeing the cars on their way through. The first times will be coming in just a few moments time, but while we wait for that, we can talk you through the drivers' standings after the 6th round at Silverstone. And it is Casper de Court with 1,600 points to his name, leading the championship ahead of Adam McNally by a margin of 87 points, but with 100 points per race, and with 4 races on the cards for tonight, means that there should be some very, very dramatic action and potentially championship swinging in the favour of the chasing pack. Then we come down to Lars Fischer in 3rd place overall. Then we've got, of course, James Clark for Swift Cooper Esports as well, down in 4th place. And then Craig Cockrell, first of the Pro-Ams, actually inside the top 5. So very good job from Craig. You can see the number 9 all by himself in this qualifying session. Means that he won't be getting any slipstream, but of course doesn't need to worry about all of the dramas going on up in front and all around him. He can just focus fully on the task at hand, which is getting the best qualifying lap on the board. Having a look at the Pro-Am classification in more detail, we can see Craig Cockrell, like we mentioned, leading the standings, and then in behind him we've got Harley Moss, 144 points back. Then Michael Seal getting his championship finally back on track after strong showing at Silverstone that earned him driver of the round in 3rd place for the Pro-Ams. They've got Sam Smith 4th in Pro-Ams and Craig McMullen 5th in the Pro-Am class. Then last but certainly not least, we've got the Am category, and that's looking very close. Glenn Humberston leading that class, but only by 100 points. And then just a few points further back, you've got Ashley Stimpson, Fiona Siddons, who's as well got her championship back on track, up in 4th place. And then Simon Robson, who's dropped down 3 places after Silverstone, is definitely a driver that is going to be hungry for success here in Austria, down in 5th place in the AMS. But with that, we do have the first timers coming through onto the board. Alex, you can talk us through who's on provisional pole.
Provisional pole at the moment belonging to Jason Cooper with a time of 1:48.4. Not too far ahead of Casper de Court though, just 0.003 of a second. You can barely draw that size with your fingers. It's the size of a cigarette paper at the very most. So very, very close indeed, but plenty of time left in this session. We'll see if anyone pips them to the top spot. And in third place at the moment for the pro category anyway, and overall, Tom Griffiths quite a few places back and running a bit slow on the inside here as we run up towards turn 9. Trying to get a good run out of the final few corners here. Behind some fellow cars ahead, trying to get a good slipstream. That's what's going to be key on this track today, is the slipstream. As for these cars getting up that big, steep hill coming out of turn 1 on the approach to the hairpin of turn 2, you're going to need everything you can in terms of open air, the big hole in the air that these cars create. As Griffiths starts a brand new lap here, and we'll do a lap off the track on board with Tom Griffiths. Around turn 1 we go, and up under the Alpha Tauri bridge we can see just above us there, and up that steep hill, and we can see the beautiful mountain range of Spielberg around here as we go up the hill, approaching turn 2, or turn 3 I think it actually is. Tight hairpin, down the gears we go. First gear going around that corner, up the gears we go, past 100 kilometers per hour, down towards the next corner on the track. Long right-hander where we've seen many an incident over the past few years in the Formula 1. Of course, the most notable one is the incident between Alex Albon and Lewis Hamilton through here. Oh, late apex there for Griffiths. Don't think he even hit the apex there, but you can just see he is really powering it around this track to try and get closer to the top of the standings. Just as we mentioned this, Lars Fischer takes third place away from Tom Griffiths. Into the next corner we go, keep it nice and tight on the apex, and good slipstream from ahead of us here means this could be a very good lap if the rest of it is hooked up well. Taking a little bit of that inside curve on the next corner, plenty of runoff here, not taking too much of the gravel in the car in front. The 478 machine pulls over. That's Adam McNally pulling over to the side to let through Tom Griffiths as he touched the gravel there, slowed down the car and the momentum a lot. Into the final 2 corners, right-hander down into second gear, short shift into third, final corner, through the dip we go and down the hill, flat out as we exit onto the left curb, and that is a lap of the Österreich ring, or A1 ring, or the Red Bull ring Spielberg as we call it nowadays. Tom Griffiths does go back up to third place, but still 0.75 of a second off that top spot. Still plenty of work to do, Ed.
Yeah, I think it was through turn 1, the Niki Lauda curve, where he made that mistake the previous lap, and he's made that mistake this lap as well, just going a little bit too deep into the corner. You can see the understeer coming through as we find now Harley Moss, that very distinctive sort of bluish purple and lime green and white MX5, the sequential sim swap powered by Victor Esports. Mouthful of a name, but a very distinctive livery there for the 97. He was actually doing a very good job, is Harley Moss. Promoted from the AM class to the Prams and has been taking to that like a duck to water. He's been absolutely flying so far in this series, but in qualifying he's struggling somewhat just outside the top 10. Other drivers looking to climb up the order as well. Might be the likes of Dave Chapman, who was a real contender for the championship early on, but poor luck, poor results has seen him fall down the order. He can still come through though here at the Red Bull ring for some good success should he get the slipstream, but there's none for him. Look, you can see just in front, clear track space, no one around him. The only car that's going to be coming through is the car behind, and that is actually I think the 35 of Lee Holmes. This is just coming through. The driver who's currently leading the Pro-Ams in qualifying, going to be starting in 7th place. Should he have his way? Should he hold on for the moment and no drivers behind improve? You can see though, look how close he is to James Neave, 1/1000th of a second separating 6th from 7th. And it's all down to the slipstream. There's nothing in it in terms of the driver's ability, I don't think. It's just purely down to getting on the right amount of track space, and you can see Adam Delmont is doing exactly that now, up into 3rd place, leapfrogging Tom Griffiths, who, like we just saw, now into the pit lane, looking for a fresh set of boots for the final 5 minutes of action here at the Red Bull Ring in qualifying. Adam Delmont, what can he do to try and upset the apple cart for the 2 5-star motorsport cars currently 1st and 2nd, locking out the front row?
Yeah, and if this session is going to tell us anything, it's going to be extremely close tonight. A lot of real close times. Only 2 thousandths between 4th and 5th, between Griffiths and Fisher. 1 thousandth, as you mentioned, between James Neve and Lee Holmes. 3 thousandths between 1 and 2 still. This really is going to tell the story of what's going to happen tonight. Such close racing. You can see with how close these drivers are and how important they realise the slipstream is around this track. As is in an MX5, as we mentioned earlier on, these are very, very long stretches between each corner, and the hills, of course, are what's crucial in staying in that slipstream, pulling the cars up the hill, and of course going down the hill, being in the slipstream is even more effective. As we switch to Adam McNally, no time on the board yet for Adam McNally, and pulls over to find more slipstream from another car behind. Oh, there's a car going sideways, coming out of the corner there. I'm not sure who that was.
Robson? I'm not sure who that was. That could have been Simon Robson. It was definitely a big moment as they were coming out of turn number 8. I think all the drivers just trying to get away. This is a lot like what you see in real Formula 1 qualifying, isn't it? They're all just trying to get out of the way into turn 9 and turn 10. Seeing if they can pick up a bit of slipstream. They don't want to be leading the train, but they also don't want to be in the way of other drivers. As we come now towards the final few minutes of action here at the Red Bull Ring. Following Duncan Cope now, who's in a lovely spot, isn't he? Right up behind the 66 Ryan Main. With a lovely bit of slipstream, as he's actually got the number 17 just up ahead as well. That number 17 belonging to Simon Robson, who might have been one of the drivers we saw exit stage right, or exit stage left rather, off of the road coming out of turn 8. Going out of the way, now back up and running, coming up into turn number 3. Hard on the brakes, you can see the front of the car pitching down, turning through nicely, getting good drive out as well. It's all about the drive out of the corners here rather than the drive into the corners, because you are flat out basically all the way from up here down the hill into the next corner, turn 4. We're seeing Ryan Main actually, who's peeled off into the pits as teammate Andy McEwen comes through, staying in 17th place. Andy, who actually had a very good performance last season here at the Red Bull Ring. Maybe not so this time around, but we know he's a good racer. Maybe not so strong in qualifying. What did he pull out the bag? I say not very strong in qualifying. I remember just 2 rounds ago at Donington Park, he pulled out an absolutely amazing performance right at the end to snatch P2. Only a few, in fact actually a 10th off of pole time, which was set by, well, Gasper de Court. So what can Andy McEwen do? He's hooked up very nicely behind the car in front, isn't he, Alex? You can see the drive he's getting compared to Lee Holmes might be in danger of actually getting held up more than anything else.
Yes, I think so. This might compromise the lap a little bit. In fact, I think it already has. Well, you can see Andy McEwen
hard on the brakes.
Yeah, hard on the brakes, and almost a Scandinavian flick going through the corner. Rally fans, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I can't help but notice the fluorescent purple in the interior of this car here. It's fabulous to look at. But yeah, I think Andy McEwen backed off a little bit on the previous few corners here. Going to try and pull himself back a bit. Yes, he is. You can see he's braking way earlier for the corner. He's going to hold himself back from the 35 car of Lee Holmes and going to try one last gasp at pole position, or even higher, even lower maybe, not too sure. But pulls off, does Lee Holmes, but that leaves that leaves Andy McEwen without any slipstream now. That really isn't going to help, and I imagine there's a few token words coming out of McEwen's mouth right now to describe that moment, but he may as well give it a go anyway.
Yeah, his next door neighbours will definitely be hearing him maybe effing a Jeff in a bit, but he might be quite pleased with that actually, because he's gone up into P11. So that was a very good lap time from Andy McEwen, in spite of potentially getting held up into turn 4. You can see him getting out of the way now. No slipstream, not able to improve, so it's going to be a long and arduous wait for the next, well, minute and a half, I think, for Andy McEwen, as he sees all the other drivers come across the line, set their lap times. Are they going to be able to best him? He's getting in behind the 227 just up the road. That car, of course, belonging to a driver that I can't find on my timing software for some reason. Sam Smith, man who's currently pole position in the Pro-Ams. SimTech Pro.
Luke Cooper off at the background there. That will certainly abolish his chances of getting higher up the grid. 7th place right now. That will abolish that lap. But we were just talking about Andy McEwen. Watching his lap, he definitely could have gone quicker. It just seemed like he was braking much earlier because of the car ahead. Andy McEwen has plenty in the tank, I reckon, for these races, so certainly look out for him tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching out for actually Dave Chapman, who's currently 4th fastest. As we can see, Jason Cooper off the road. He won't be improving in this final time. Dave Chapman, can he get up onto the front row? Currently sitting in 4th place, going to be starting on the 2nd row. Should Tom Griffiths in behind not improve on his lap time, he's got a clear run through these final few corners, which actually helps him out, means he can focus fully on the task at hand, getting the best line into the corner. Isn't going to be unsighted into the braking zone, just at the turning in points. And now through the final turns into Rin, and then the final bend upcoming. Be careful not to run too wide. I think that's just about on what's allowed. Dave Chapman keeping the wheels on the red and white curbing.
Keep an eye on Lee Holmes as well. He was looking very good in the final sector. There was Lee Holmes. Let's see if he can get any higher.
I think he was held up earlier on in the lap, so he wasn't able to improve, as Tom Griffiths usurps David Chapman, takes his place up on the 2nd row, and actually he does one better. He goes ahead of Adam Delmont now. So good lap that from the TJ Motorsport driver. Tom Griffiths, the number 11, starting in 3rd place, as I don't think Lars Fischer is on a lap that couldn't go any quicker. We'll just see him through the 107. I can't imagine him finding any more time, though. In fact, I think he actually did come across the line just before the checkered flag, or just after the checkered flag dropped. So this is going to be an in-lap, if anything else, from Lars Fischer, or maybe just trying to get a little bit more practice in. But I think with that, the grid is set for the first race of the evening here in the 7th meeting of the SIM3D BSR MX5 trophy. Just watching Lars Fischer come through, set his final lap time. Won't be an improvement though, and it is still going to be, though, a 5-star Motorsport 1 and 2. Lars Fischer, 3rd of the 5-star Motorsport cars inside the top 10. Going to be a very good evening for that team if they can come through in those positions. But of course, we know what the Red Bull Ring is like. It's a very slipstream heavy. I don't think the driver's going to finish where they've qualified.
No, absolutely, yeah. It's going to be very interesting, this first lap. The notorious turn 1, very, very tricky to get through with the sausage curb on the outside, and running out wide there it may cause a couple of slowdowns for the field, particularly as we've got a huge field, 30 plus drivers in this field tonight. It's going to be great. But I believe we have the grid results ready for this opening race of the night, Ed. Yeah,
we do. You can run you through the grid now. Jason Cooper on pole position, as he's tended to do for most of the season. Gets another pole position stroke to add to his very impressive tally so far this season. With Casper de Kort teammate lining up alongside, but only 3,000 separating the pair of them, means it's going to be a very close fight going into turn number 3. And count on that. Tom Griffiths in behind, trying to upset things for the drivers in front as well, with Adam Delmont, who's a very firm racer. Watch out for the Excite Racing driver, the 777, in 4th place. Dave Chapman in 5th will be starting ahead of Lars Fischer, with Luke Cooper 7th and Sam Smith, fastest of the Prabs, starting in 8th place. James Neve 9th ahead of Lee Holmes, 10th, who completes the top 10, with Andy McEwen 11th place, right at the death. Very good lap time to come through at the end, just ahead of Craig Cockrell in 12th place. Ryan Main there in 13th, ahead of Michael Seal, with Shane Piggott 15th, Harley Moss 16th, and Glenn Humberston first of the AM drivers now in 17th place. Good effort from the 88 Tech driver, ahead of Adam McNally and Duncan Cope and Simon Robson, who completes the top 20, with Nick Clibbins 21st, Adam Mitchinson 22nd, Craig Schill 23rd, Douglas Stewart 24th. And we come to drivers who haven't been able to set qualifying times, were excluded from qualifying for whatever reason, based on infringements last time out. So we can see James Clark, Andy Thompson, Ashley Stimpson, Craig McDonald, Liam Silkstone, Julian Schreier, Liam Stimpson, Brian Stewart and Fiona Siddons, who completes the 33 car strong grid here in the Red Bull Ring, the 7th round of the championship. The first race of the evening is about to get underway very shortly here, Alex. You can see cars getting ready, the lights coming on the gantry. We're about to go racing here for the first time at the Red Bull Ring, and it's a good start. Watch out for Casper de Kort down the inside into turn 1. He's also going to be more worried about the cars in behind, covering off to assist his teammate into the first bend. There you go. Jason Cooper around the outside, able to hold on to the lead of the race. They all seem to navigate through the first corner nice and cleanly. There's a little bit of a touch in the background. You can see one of the Excite cars, I think that was McNally, getting a slight clip in behind. But he's able to keep on going. I think there was a little bit of a bump between himself and Glenn Humberston. But now up into turn 3 they come. Look at them going double file in the background. You can see Luke Cooper having to fend off a very aggressive move down the inside, actually, as we see Smith and Neve banging together. Look at them all coming through turn 3. Bit of a slow exit out of the corner for the number 3 of Liam Stimpson. Going to be vulnerable down from Liam Silkstone, who's going to look for a move around the outside into turn 4. Further in front, Lee Holmes going for a move on Craig Cockrell, getting it done on the inside. As he slowed down too much on the exit, though, going to get a bit of slipstream from the cars in front. And I think Tries Mighty should be able to hold on to that P11 position. Andy McEwen doing good, up 2 places from his starting grid of 11th up into P9. Squabbling very firmly with, you can see, Sam Smith, first of the Pro-Ams. McEwen looking for a move around the outside. Force wide, could be under threat now from James Neve, but James, I think, very smartly backs out, doesn't need to fight too hard because you can see he's at risk of losing touch to all the drivers in front. As we see now Jason Cooper ahead of Casper DeCourt, Tom Griffiths, Adam Delmont in that breakaway pack of 4, with Luke Cooper in behind in 5th place, trying as he might to catch up to those cars in front. If he loses traction, then he can all but kiss goodbye. A chance for podium here, and I think David Chapman knows that. He shouldn't be really thinking about any moves at this early stage of the race. At least when you can see podium places and even the race victory not too far up the road. And look at them all squabbling together, fighting through. Try and pick a car and follow it, because otherwise you'll have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, it's very exciting so far. As we see Shane Piggott going for a move on Craig Cockrell on the outside, going into the hairpin. Not quite able to make it, not late enough on the brakes, running a little bit wide and forced even wider by the 127 car on the outside there as they run down into the next corner, still side by side. And this is how the MX5s work. You can't seem to shake anyone off very, very quickly, as we see Piggott get through and Seal and Holmes continue the battle on, as well as Adam McNally joining in the party. McNally on the inside there, and what will be the outside for the next corner. The outside he goes, and still stranded on the inside is Lee Holmes, as Michael Seal gets himself ahead into that 13th spot onto the podium for category. And still on the inside there, Lee Holmes battling hard with Alec McNally. They're giving each other great racing room here. Good battling here, and another person joins the party. It is Nick Clibbens joining in. Can we get a 3 wide? He's taken a look. Oh, and the cars nearly come together there, coming down the straight here. Round turn 9 they go, and through goes Clibbens past Lee Holmes. Not a very good lap for Lee Holmes at all.
Definitely not what he was hoping for. It's not a good start to the race as well from Lee Holmes, who's down 6 places since the start, trying to make up one more around the outside into the first bend. It's going to be, well, an uphill battle, both literally and figuratively, but one that he can succeed in as he goes around the outside into Nicky Lauda curve. Seemingly Nick backing out of that one on that occasion. And now look, all of a sudden, Luke Cooper has been able to have a little bit of breathing space afforded to him by David Chapman, who decides, right, you've had enough time, be up in front, now it's my turn. And trying to work together actually is coming out of the corner. Luke Cooper, instead of going for the overtake, is actually pushing the driver in front. Time for car number 19 down into turn 4. They are, they say, trying to help each other out more than anything else, as they can see there's clearly cars in front. Actually, something to note is that Jason Cooper and Casper DeCourt, they are helping each other as well, building a bit of a gap to Tom Griffiths, who's nearly 1.5 seconds away from the race leader.
Yeah, they are breaking away, the top 2, pushing each other along. And considering they were so close on the qualifying times, and they are riding the same livery, so presuming they're of the same team, this is good teamwork from the pair of them. And a reverse grid later on means they're going to have to work with each other as the night goes on. So, yeah, very, very good. I suppose they can squabble for their 1 and 2 positions later on in the race, but for now, the consensus in Discord for them at the moment is let's get away from the pack behind, and they're doing that quite well at the moment. And Tom Griffiths and Adam Delmont behind might be under trouble at some point from Dave Chapman, Luke Cooper and Lars Fischer, even Sam Smith lurking in the wings back there down to position 8th. Biggest mover of the field so far, Adam McNally on 5 places gained, heading this battle for 13th spot in the race so far. Quite a good progression from Adam McNally, and also Nick Clibbens has gained 5 places in the race so far.
Yeah, definitely some big drivers that have moved and shaped their way up through the field, but amazingly, the top 8 drivers haven't changed at all since their qualifying results. So you might see that change a little bit as under the pressure is Sam Smith from, actually Gus Craig Cockrell actually under pressure from Andy McEwen. And I think that fight for 9th place is going to be won out by the year 1 driver. However, you can see the cars ahead got a gap of nearly 2.5 seconds. All this squabbling between the pair of them slows each other down and means they aren't really making any gains. So I think we are going to see that pack of 8 clear off down through the distance. And unfortunately, Andy McEwen, Craig Cockrell, James Neve are going to be left squabbling for at best 9th place. That is, of course, unless the battles in front turn ugly, which, well, to be out our Mazdas, anything can happen, of course. Andy McEwen, though, he's hanging it around the outside to then get the inside. Cracking stuff from the number 4 year 1 racing driver who gets the position done, and all of a sudden, James Neve, he can sniff an opportunity. He's going for it down the inside. And you know what? Going into Rint, he's going to take it.
I tell you what, we're going to see a lot of that tonight here at the Red Bull Ring. A lot of moves where people are side by side with one another, and if they lose momentum, it allows others to pounce them. We saw exactly that from James Neve here. But it was very much a game of cat and mouse between Cockrell and McEwen there. No, I'm quicker. No, I'm quicker. No, I'm quicker. And they just couldn't agree on it, and ultimately one of them lost out because of it. But a move going into turn 1 here from the 127 machine of Shane Piggott. He gets by the 2 of them on the front straight there, straight into 10th place and 9th place in category there for Shane Piggott. Brilliant opportunistic move from him there to get by the 2 cars battling intensely on the final 2 corners there.
Yeah, that was a really great scrap. And of course, if they continue to fight the way they have been, Andy McEwen could be in a battle of his own, a race of his own there in 9th place. Look at that squabbling on the exit. That was a bump between Clibbens and Seal. Seal, who was able to drive out of the corner, was worried when you see the contact onto the rear of your car, on the rear tyres. We have seen drivers, in fact, DNF because of it with suspension damage, but I think, fortunately enough, Michael Seal was able to get away with that one. Just look at that slide on the brakes from Nick Clibbens. That's what happens when you push on the brake pedal too hard. You find the rear of the car as the brakes locking up a little bit. The car twitches quite violently, and not only does that make the car difficult to control into the corner, but also means the car isn't stopping as quickly. So that was very good awareness for all the drivers to keep through, and it's actually not worked out too badly.
Yeah, so far so good in this race, considering there's a lot of drivers on the grid. Same size as an Indy 500 grid, by the way. Quite a huge amount, but I think there was a little bit of contact actually from Harley Moss on Nick Clibbens going into the corner there, but as you said, very well held from Clibbens, keeps it going and keeps up the momentum with the 5 places gained already for him so far. Shane Piggott is another driver gaining plenty of positions, 10th at the moment as we mentioned just a lap ago, up 5 places as well. Him, McNally and Clibbens, the drivers with the most places gained in this race so far.
Yeah, the advantage as well that Casper de Court had over Tom Griffiths has been erased. It's now half a second the margin. As Michael Seal, after that very dramatic moment as he comes through the Niki Lauda curve, bumping his way over the sausage on the exit, he's going to try and focus, if he can, on getting up to the back of James Neve. But all of this as well, you can see Ryan Main down the inside. Then becomes the outside through turn 2, but puts the port the inside up into turn number 3. Almost 3 wide, as you can see in behind Duncan Cope, thinking about it, but backing out instead, actually going to the inside to cover off a move from the car in behind that was trying for it. Glenn Humberston, as actually, that was a great move from Harley Moss, sweeping his car around the outside, getting a good drive out of the corner, leaving Ryan Main in his wake, and Ryan now needs to worry about all the cars behind rather than focusing on the battle to get up the order. He needs to worry now about not falling down it.
Oh, Harley Moss runs wide. It was a great move around the outside of the hairpin there. Goes a little bit wide there. Hasn't lost too much, thankfully. But 5th place in category at the moment, Harley Moss is fighting for. And with Ryan Main, Duncan Cope, Glenn Humberson fighting for this position here. Actually, we're going to revert to a replay as we have had an incident, I believe further back in the pack. Douglas Stewart and Craig Schill have been involved in some drama. We are coming down into the right-hander here. Oh, hanging the car on the inside. And actually, it was the understeer on exit, and the two just came together. Very unfortunate there as Douglas Stewart comes to a stop. And I think, actually, Craig Schill has got more damage than you would have hoped for. And that is not a race-ending incident. It's certainly one that's going to... Well, certainly they're going to look back on if they're looking for championship results, and especially if they miss out on reverse grid contention.
Look at this though, Duncan Cope going for a move on the inside of Ryan Main into the Niki Lauda curve. You can see them side by side. It's Glenn Humberston going wide under the pressure of Thompson. He's going to see if he can get through. Andy Thompson has gotten past, and as does actually the car behind James Clark. So good run through. Cracking stuff. Well, look at Ryan Main still squabbling actually with Duncan Cope. Ryan Main this time trying the outside line. He had to move Donovan through that corner by Harley Moss, but wasn't able to come through. And actually, it was the inside line that's favoured Duncan Cope. But now coming out of the corner, the better drive around the outside. You see Ryan Main get his nose down, back through into turn number 4 as battles for the front positions have heated up. Casper de Court with a mistake here, running wide onto the gravel. And you know what? Tom Griffiths, he's going to take that all day long, as does Adam Delmont. So with that, Casper de Court drops down out of the podium places as well. So the only 5-star motorsport car in the podium places is in the lead, and it's Jason Cooper. But now having to worry about drivers that aren't his teammate in behind him, which could be a little bit of a concern.
Yeah, absolutely. And our initial thoughts at the start of the race were the front two at the time of Jason Cooper and Casper de Court breaking away from this pack hasn't quite worked out that way. Tom Griffiths and Adam Delmont have played their cards and are actually gaining on the number 1 car of Jason Cooper at the front there. And the Excite car excited to be in the top 3 now, right in a sandwich between Griffiths and de Court right now. Let's see what he can do down this back straight here. There's a good run actually from de Court coming out of turn 1. Gets himself alongside to the outside, and we've seen moves around the outside going into this hairpin, so we could see it again. Second place holding up de Court here. Griffiths moves over to defend the inside. Delmont fights back on de Court. Round the corner they go, and it's a good exit from Delmont, and he breaks back in front, his nose anyway, in front of de Court as we come out of the hairpin. Down towards turn 3 we go. Delmont definitely has the better line for this part of the circuit, but it's a good run from de Court and gets his nose back ahead of Delmont. Into the corner we go. Delmont holds the inside. Oh, and it's a little bit of understeer, and they both slammed on the brakes midway through the corner to prevent any understeer or going into each other, and they're still side by side. Next, left-hander. This is advantage de Court on the inside. Round they go.
This is cracking stuff. You can see Casper de Court holding firm down the inside, but can Adam Delmont hold it through to get the outside line, then the inside for the final 2 corners? That's going to be crucial, but it isn't to be. And actually, as a result of him trying to fight through and losing out, all of a sudden Dave Chapman fancies a move, looking to the outside line through the final couple of corners. Can he make it stick as Adam Delmont looks for a half move through on Casper de Court, isn't able to come through, and Tom Griffiths is half a second back from the race leader Jason Cooper. He could try something here. Should he get a good run out of the Niki Lauda curve? This could be Griffiths for the taking. I think the battle for 3rd place is going to be between de Court, Delmont and Chapman. Tom Griffiths, he hasn't got anyone to worry about in behind. He can focus fully on getting through, but Jason Cooper runs wide out of the first corner. He's only going to get an off-track, not a slowdown. Tactical driving, able to try and get the better drive out of the corner and into turn 3 as they come up now through turn number 2 side by side. You can see Delmont going for it on de Court, hard on the brakes now. We will both go fighting, giving each other barely an inch as they make the apex. Delmont speeds on through, running wide as Casper de Court. Can now David Chapman capitalise?
Oh, this is great racing indeed. And Decourt is fighting back. He had an off-track penalty running wide there, and he still has the move in his hands. On the outside he goes into the next corner. He's got his nose ahead on the outside here. This is very good for Decourt. He'll have the inside for the next corner. He doesn't run too wide. Has the inside for the next corner. We saw Adam Delmont washed up on the outside going through these corners last time. Brian Decourt got ahead.
Griffiths was going for it on Cooper. Just saw Griffiths looking for a move around the outside of Jason Cooper, then gets the inside line. He's got to run. Is he going to try and find a move now on the inside line? Look at how close the leaders are. Look at how close third and fourth are as well. It's going to be close at the line. Jason Cooper running slightly wide. Is that going to hamper his run into the final couple of corners? Tom Griffiths now less than a tenth of a second. He's going to be forced around the outside. This is do or die for Tom Griffiths. Through the final two corners he goes. Jason Cooper holds on firm, but he's slow on the exit. Tom Griffiths, he's going to go for it. He's going to have to send it, but around the outside, Jason Cooper, is going to be a drag race up to the line, but it will be the 5-star motorsport driver who comes through for the lead of the race. Tom Griffiths in second place, and Casper Decourt, he was able to hold on to third place in the end after a brilliant battle in the final two laps with Adam Delmont. He held firm, held strong, held on to P3 with Dave Chapman in the pound seats to watch all of that unfold, but unfortunately wasn't able to make up any places. He stayed in P5 as Sam Smith comes across the line in 8th to take top honours in the Pro-Am class. And then in the AMs, you can see Simon Robson there, the number 17, Simtech, coming very nicely to take the AM class victory. Quite a few places actually ahead of his nearest rival, Ashley Stimpson, who's currently racing in 23rd place. Just come across the line now. So as Alex, all the drivers make their way across the line, you can do the honours and spin the reverse grid spinning wheel to determine the fates of the drivers for the second race.
Absolutely. As a fan of the BSR, I've always wanted to do this. Spin the wheel, here we go. We've got plenty of options on there, but we are going to land on a reverse grid of the top 13. So Harley Moss will start the next race on pole position for race 2.
Oh, so that's going to be very exciting. Unlucky for some. Harley Moss has seemingly lucked out it for the moment. I think it's Harley Moss. For me, it's saying someone else, but we'll be able to get confirmation of the finishing order up on your screens now as the drivers have made their way, and it is actually, yes, Harley Moss, driver in 13th place, should be starting on pole position. Well, as we say that, when we have the confirmed results, it tells a different story. Jason Cooper wins the first race of the evening here at the Red Bull Ring, with Tom Griffiths in second place, ahead of Casper Decourt, who rounds out the podium. Cracking effort from Casper, wasn't able to hold on to second place in the end, but fighting back brilliantly after that little mistake through turn number 4. Up onto the podium once again with Adam Delmont, 777 Excite iRacing driver, in 4th, ahead of Dave Chapman in 5th. The Lars Fischer, highest of the, well, the lowest of the 5-star motorsport drivers, shows how strong they are, that he finished in 6th place. Ahead of Luke Cooper. Sam Smith, who wins the Pro-Am class, in 8th, ahead of Shane Piggott. Michael Seal, 10th, also 2nd in the Pro-Ams, ahead of Lee Holmes, who rounds out the Pro-Am podium. 11th overall, with Adam McNally 12th, Duncan Cope 13th, and a reverse grid pole position as well. So confirmation that it is Duncan Cope that will be taking the reverse grid pole position honours. With Andy Thompson missing out, he will be starting in 14th. Ahead of Simon Robson, 15th, the AM class victor. Craig Cockrell, 16th, ahead of James Clark, Ryan Main, James Neve, Aaron Mitchinson, Ashley Stimpson, Andy McEwen, Liam Silkstone, Harley Moss, Fiona Siddons, Nick Clibbins, with Brian Stewart, Glenn Humberston, Douglas Stewart, Liam Stimpson, all scoring points, but then the drivers finishing 2 laps down or more. You've got Craig Schill, Craig McLeod, and Julian Schroer, the 3 non-finishers here for the first race at the Red Bull Ring. But with that, I cannot see any drivers lining up for a chat with us, Alex, in the interview waiting room. So everyone here at Absolute Sim Racing will go for a short break, get ready into the next server. We're back with all of the action, so make sure to stay tuned.
take the night in. Welcome, my heart's so full, I'm devoting myself to the night. There's no motive, we're just listening, we're existing.
Holy Store. Equipment store at low prices. Make sure.
Dreaming in the dark, we are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the
Hello everybody, welcome back to Absolute Sim Racing, and we are about to get underway with the second race of the evening here at the Red Bull Ring. First race, of course, won by Jason Cooper in a stunning dominant performance, led every single lap, but did have to withstand a little bit of pressure in behind from second place man Tom Griffiths in the dying few corners. Casper de Court, Jason Cooper's teammate, coming through for a very good third place finish after fighting very bravely and valiantly against Adam Delmont for the last couple laps as well. But with a 13 reverse grid that's seen Duncan Cope start from pole position, we can get you underway with all of the action here. You can actually see the slight difference to what we're seeing is that it says it's... So we'll quickly refresh that. There we go. What we were actually saying, yep, Duncan Cope on pole position, ahead of Adam McNally, Lee Holmes, Michael Seal, Shane Piggott, Sam Smith, Luke Cooper, Lars Fisher, Dave Chapman, Adam Delmont there in 10th place. Ahead of Casper de Court, Tom Griffiths, Jason Cooper, Andy Thompson, Simon Robertson, Craig Cockrell 16th, ahead of James Clark, Ryan Main, James Neve, Adam Mitchkinson in 20th place, ahead of Ashley Stimpson, Andy McEwen, Liam Silkstone, Harley Moss, Fiona Siddons, Nick Clibbins, Brian Stewart, Glenn Humberston, Douglas Stewart, Liam Stimpson, Craig Schill, Craig McDonald, and Julian Schroer, 33rd place, rounding out all 33 cars up on the grid. And the action's about to get underway here, Alex, as there's only a few more seconds to go before the green flag drops. You can see the cars getting ready. Duncan Cope from pole position. He did some great racing early on in the first race. Can he repeat that? And can he take top honours here with a good start off the line? He's definitely looking likely to do just that. Ahead of Adam McNally, who's going out to slot in behind, actually bend off Lee Holmes. Look at Michael Steele as they're weaving about, trying to get some space for himself into the first corner. There you go. Oh, there's fighting on the exit. Holmes and McNally coming together. That could slow them both down, but it doesn't, to be fair. They're fighting it 2 by 2 up through turn 2. Going up the hill towards turn 7 for the first time in this second race. Around the outside has worked for some drivers. Will it work for Lee Holmes? McNally holding the inside and holding on to second place.
Good start there for Adam Delmont as well, and in the back there was a 3 wide going through the hairpin there.
Chapman,
Adam Delmont just nips through on the inside and still fighting between himself and Chapman as we come down the hill towards the third corner here. Oh, and further up we've got Adam McNally under pressure from Lee Holmes as well. Michael Seal putting pressure on Shane Piggott as well. Nothing changed in the top 5 yet. Oh, and there's a spin in the back there. There's a car off in the middle. I think that's Chapman.
That's third place. Was that Casper de Court? I think that was third place. Oh no, that was Lars Fisher. Oh no, Lars Fisher. He finished 6th place in the last race, but unfortunately, from that little mistake, has dropped back down the order. Oh my word, that's not good at all for the driver who was sitting in third place in the championship standings coming into this round. Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, just running wide a little bit, got the rear end a little bit loose and turned around by the car that just had nowhere to go. Oh, and there is a huge
Ryan Main and Mitchinson having a huge coming together there. We're going to see if we can find exactly what happened. There's a famous like Ryan trying to get the car going. So needs to tell him that he's missing a wheel.
Watching Brian Stewart here, and it was a bit further up. Brian Stewart was collected in it. Oh, spins, seeing it all ahead. Can't seem to get the replay of what happened to the 66 car. Let's see if this shows us. In fact, yes, this is going to be our best view of it. So Liam Stimpson coming through the corner here. Oh no, they both just spin sideways. Oh, and the 66 car just goes right into the traffic there. And that is game over for the 66 car of Ryan Main, who had pretty good race 1 as well. Such a shame, but we'll be able to bounce back for races 3 and 4, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to be seeing at the start, but this is definitely what you want to be seeing if you're a fan of the Excite iRacing team. Now you can see Adam McNally with his nose in front, as Lee Holmes is going to be fighting hard into turn number 4. He goes trying to sweep it around the outside, but can't fully turn in because there's a car occupier in that space. Lee Holmes, though, with the inside line, that will soon become the outside line. It'll be a job to hold his way through. And I think, unfortunately, he's going to drop back behind Adam McNally. Yes, he does. It's actually Delmont has lost out, but McNally spins. McNally, with a mistake, spins into the path, colliding with the side of, I think, Duncan Cope's gotten away with that. and then all the other cars on site coming through. There's a huge pile up. Delmont, Robson, Cockrell, I think, all involved. Dave Chapman able to get through relatively unscathed, but huge damage as well on the front of Casper de Court. That's third place from last race with huge damage.
Oh wow, what a race this is turning out to be. And we're seeing de Court limp here. Is he going to pull it into the pits? No, he's going to carry on. Got to keep going in a short race like this where there are precious points on offer. You see the bodywork rolling around there. There's going to be a huge impact on aerodynamics for that car, really going to slow it down. But de Court, on his mind is points. Just get it to the end. It really has shuffled up the order here. Adam Delmont was also collected in it. There's 5 retirements from this race at the moment. Adam McNally, Adam Delmont, both the Excite Racing team. Craig Cockrell, Ryan Main and Adam Mitchinson, a lot of retirements from this race. But race 1 winner Luke Cooper up into second place potentially here with a move on Michael Seal going into the hairpin here on the outside. The line we saw preferred on that corner and actually got a good run coming out of the hairpin. Into second place goes the race 1 winner Luke Cooper, who is able to keep himself out of trouble throughout this race and get himself into the top spots. Excuse me, was it Luke Cooper or Jason Cooper who won race 1?
It was Jason Cooper who won the first race, but Luke Cooper's doing a decent job, isn't he? Up into second, so this could be very good for the Swift Cooper Esports driver. The number 6, occupying second place. I'll tell you what, Lee Holmes, what a race he's been having so far. He was able to obviously benefit from the mistake we saw, but from then on out, he's just been very firm and very good at keeping himself up in the lead of the race and actually trying to extend his gap, if anything, to Cooper in behind. So,
yeah, it's the beauty of
pressure a little bit.
It's the beauty of reverse grid races. If you manage to get lucky with the reverse grid pole, all you've really got to do is just get yourself out in front. As we see a move here on the inside goes the number 197 car of Duncan Cope.
I think it's actually Jason Cooper go for a move and overtake around the outside, and he's been able to hold it on, you know. Great stuff from Jason Cooper around the outside as Duncan Cope, he was put on reverse grid pole position. It was always a job to try and win this race. Unfortunately, he is getting shuffled back through the back. As you can see, Shane Piggott thinks of a move. He sends a move down into turn 1. He's going to, well, make the corner. You can see Duncan Cope having to run wide.
Well, not a good run coming out of turn 1 though for Piggott, as Smith is all over the rear, as is the number 11 car of Tom Griffiths. It's going to be bump drafting up the straight here towards the hairpin. Is Piggott going to be pushed back up the inside very, very late? Braking, stamping on the brakes, gets it slowed down in time. And wow, how did they get through that corner safe and sound? Beats me, but it's good quality driving from these drivers at the moment. We've got so many cars close together in this battle for 5th position right now. 3 wide going down into turn 3. Backing out of it is Duncan Cope. Decides to think better off it. Shane Piggott on the inside of Smith here going into turn 3. Gets the job done and going wide. There is Sam Smith. Keeps the car going, keep in a straight line. Fantastic recovery there coming out of the corner. To the next corner we go. Can he keep it on the inside? No, he can't. Piggott takes 5th place.
He's just I'm watching Jason Cooper get ever so closer to the back of Michael Seal. He's on a charge, you know, here, Alex, and he's going to try and find a way through as Michael Seal with a mistake, tapping the wheel onto the gravel. This is Jason Cooper. He sees a move. He's hungry for it. He is going to go for it as well. Down the inside into the second to last corner, into Rint. He gets through, seals off the exit as well. Very nicely done from Jason Cooper. There's a reason why he was last season's champion and, of course, won the last race here. He's doing a very good job indeed and is now right up behind his brother as well, actually. Luke Cooper just up the road. Former teammates. Might not be so much brotherly love between the pair of them now as they find themselves on track together.
Yeah, I knew there was a reason why I got those drivers mixed up. But yeah, very good race for both Coopers actually. Luke Cooper gaining 5 places and gaining on Lee Holmes up ahead. And Jason Cooper 10 places gained. Fantastic race for him. With a lot of his championship rivals much further down the order at the moment. As we go into the hairpin here, or a bit of a nudge from the 57 car of Michael Seal there. Actually helping Jason Cooper get through the corner there. But keep an eye on Jason. There might be more to come from this guy later on in the race, particularly as he gets closer to that top spot. We've got side-by-side action between Tom Griffiths and Duncan Cope here. Duncan Cope on the inside, going into turn 3. The door closed. Coming out of the corner and actually capitalising on a slow apex there. Dave Chapman is on the outside now of Duncan Cope. Oh, moving across the track there. Dave Chapman goes to the inside to avoid it. Through the corner they go. On the inside is Dave Chapman. The better line for these two corners has got to be said. Next corner coming up. Can Dave Chapman hang it around the outside? It's a very slippery line out there. As you can see, the car shifting sideways in a little blink of the brake there to keep the car stabilised. Drops back behind. Dave Chapman is now under trouble from other cars behind. Look at these gaggle of cars behind Duncan Cope. In the middle of them is Andrew McEwen. 12 places gained in the race so far, and is under pressure now from Andy Thompson on his inside, and through goes Thompson. Thompson actually the biggest gainer of race 2, and is in a hurry in this race especially. 4 places gained for him so far. Up into the top 10 goes Thompson.
Thompson, a good run. He's going to be under pressure though, as you can see. Closing in behind so many more drivers, trying to take that space back from him. Jason Cooper now actually under pressure more from Michael Seal, and he's putting pressure on Luke Cooper just up the road. I think though Michael Seal, he's not really wanting to go for the move just yet. He's slotting in behind, quite content to bump Jason along. He knows this is his best chance to get a podium place, and maybe even if the order gets shuffled about, to take the AM class victory. He's a smart driver as Michael Seal, been around the BSR paddock for a fair few years now, and is definitely a wily old fox when it comes to getting himself in the right spots when it counts at the end of the race. With 5 minutes to go, he's in a very good spot.
Yeah, I think if I'm Michael Seal right now, I'll just sit behind Jason Cooper. There's a reason why he's number 1 on his door. I'll just sit behind him and, you know, almost use him to pull myself along to get up closer to the top 2 spots, to get into the battle with them. So this is very much a patience game from Michael Seal, I presume, for the next few laps or so. Let's take a little bit of a further look further back, see what else is going on track. There's still a big battle going on for 10th place here. Andrew McEwen going a little bit wide, coming out the corner there, and just further back, Duncan Cope drops more places. It's now dropped behind Andrew McEwen, and he's under pressure from James Clark. Clark's got the inside. Through the corner they go. Cope gives room and runs very wide, coming out of turn 9 there, and that will allow James Clark up the inside. And there we go, Duncan Cope goes wide again, but actually it's James Clark getting a very slow exit there, and allows Duncan Cope through, and has allowed James Neve to break through as well. Not entirely sure if that was a slowdown penalty there for James Clark, but it was looking pretty good until the final corner there.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a slowdown penalty if nothing else, but James Clark now getting some slipstream from Duncan Cope, trying to use that to his advantage now as he finds his way through 3 wide. There you go, as we see a move up in front. That's Luke Cooper going for the lead and taking the lead from Lee Holmes, as well Jason Cooper fancies a move, and he could try and take all of them at once. He's got a great run. He's going to have his nose just in front on the inside into turn number 4. They do fight 3 wide. Of course they fight 3 wide. It's BSR Mazdas. What else would they be doing here? As Holmes around the outside, Cooper to the inside, Cooper in the middle, and it is Jason that comes out on top. Or maybe just because, look at Lee Holmes. He's got a good run out of the corner around the outside. That will then become the inside for the next corner. Again, trying to make it 3 wide. Maybe upsetting the rhythm slightly of Jason Cooper around the outside. That little look from Luke. But I think a good run out of the corner has sealed the position for Jason. He does take the lead of the race and is looking likely to try and make it 2 wins from 2 with only 2 more laps to go.
That was great battling from them. How on earth did they not make contact? I don't know, but quality driving from the 4 of them there. And I did think for a moment that Lee Holmes was going to get that back, but Jason Cooper, world-class driving right now, into the top spot with just under 2.5 minutes to go. Will we see, and we probably will see, 2 races on the trot for this man here as the sun sets here at the Red Bull Ring. Starts the next lap of the race. 2 minutes to go now, and presumably 2 laps to go. He's in the top spots.
Yeah, he's in the driver's seat as Jason Cooper to try and take something from this race, make up 12 places so far. So the other driver that's made up 12 places was the man we were just looking at, actually, Andy McEwen, currently in 10th place. Can he make it? 13 places gained as he's focusing on the back of Andy Thompson. Not looking for a move down the inside into turn 3. Instead braking just slightly earlier, focusing on the drive out of the corner. Gets a good run as well. This could be the move made for Andy McEwen. Coming down the hill he goes, getting the slipstream. You can see that gap coming down now. Just under a tenth of a second. Which way is he going to go? Is the inside going to open up for Andy McEwen? It certainly does. It opens up too late for Andy to be really concerned and really committed, I think, in making that move. So Brandy, he stays in behind as well. You can see the chance of a few more places just up the road should Andy Thompson close in enough. And then looking to the outside line. He turns 7 and then maybe looking for a switchback into turn 8, but the straight isn't long enough. Corner comes too quickly. He's looking to slot back in behind as Glenn Humberston has just had a moment, I think. You can see him dropping way down through the order. Very slow coming out of turn 4. Something's happened to that 21 car.
Just trying to take a look at the...
And that's the AM-Class lead, let's not forget. He's going off. Something's gone wrong, horribly wrong for Glenn Humberston. And it looks to me like there's something going on there. It could be hardware related or something, I'm not sure.
There's no spin or anything like that, no crash or no incident with any other car, and it just seems to be crawling to a halt here for Humberston.
Oh dear, oh dear. So, really disappointing as the end was in sight. The drivers have started their final lap of the race. It's Cooper from Holmes, from Cooper, from Seal. Holmes is going to be hungry to try and get back in front if he can. He's in a good spot to do so, but that's only if he can get a good run. As oh my word, out of nowhere, coming in like a wrecking ball is David Chapman right into the back of Shane Piggott. I think that's one that the stewards will definitely look at, as have the knock-on effect of Shane Piggott dropping outside of the top 10 now. Let's have a look here. And he just comes from so far back. You can see where Shane Piggott is. Look at where David Chapman comes back from. He just misses the braking point. And yeah, I think there's not really much defence for Dave Chapman in that situation.
Yeah, sadly, I think he'll know he's going to be in the steward's office after this race. It's just one of those misjudgments too late.
McEwen and Thompson are squabbling, actually. Sorry to cut across you there. We're into the final moments. McEwen going for a move. He's got it.
Yes, he has. He's made his way past Thompson in the last few moments there. Let's see if we can get a replay of that. In fact, we'll go to the leaders.
A replay after the race. As you can see, Jason Cooper, he's coming up on the back marker traffic. Number 17, Simon Robson with damage. Jason Cooper has come through for another amazing victory. He has made it 2 from 2, a 5-star performance for the 5-star motorsport driver who takes the second race of the evening, with Lee Holmes coming in behind. Brilliant drive from the Pro-Am man, who secures top spot in his class and also a trip to the second step of the overall podium. Cracking job from the number 35. As we can now, I think I'll let you talk us through that overtake we saw from Andy McEwen on Andy Thompson.
Yes, we can. So it starts off here at turn 3. So Andy McEwen takes to the outside here, wiggling the car under the brakes there and powered the car through the corner there. Keeps it on the outside, which holds the inside for the next corner. In fact, there was nothing really that Thompson could have done about this. McEwen on the inside on a mission in this race. 14 places gained and taking a little bit of grass on the inside just to be sure that he completes the move. That was a stunning drive in that race from Andrew McEwen. It's got to be said. I think that move there is kind of a highlight of it, kind of a textbook sort of, I don't know, a template of how good that race was for McEwen. Very, very impressive drive indeed. Not the driver who's gained the most places in that race though. Liam Stimpson down in 15th place, gains 15 places, as does Julian Schroer. Finishes 18th, 15 places gained. So a lot of big movers in this field. Harley Moss, who had a moment in race 1, also gained 11th places. So with the reverse grid spin, wheel spin coming up later, it might benefit some of these drivers who have been carving their way through the field.
And well, we will be able to get that reverse grid wheel spin up right now, actually. You can talk us through who's going to be, or what number will be drawn out reverse grid pole position.
We will spin the wheel now, and we will find out. The number will be full reverse grid. Wow, wow. I was hoping we'd have one of them tonight. So a full reverse grid, and Ed, if you talk us through the results of that race now, we'll also find out who will be on the front row of the grid for the next race.
Yeah, just a refresher as well, if you are new, full reverse means all the drivers eligible, all the drivers that score points will be reversed around from their finishing order. And obviously to score points, you need to finish, well, no more or, well, equal to or no more than 2 laps down. So if you finish 1 lap down, you're fine. 2 laps down, no points, not eligible for reverse grids. So with that out of the way, we can tell you that yet again, Jason Cooper is a race winner here at the Red Bull Ring, but he's going to have a lot to do, starting all the way from the back in the 3rd race. Lee Holmes coming through for a brilliant 2nd place, taking top honours in Pro-Am, ahead of Luke Cooper, Tom Griffiths, Andy McEwen comes through up into 5th place. What a drive it was from him as well. Actually, that's very strange because it says for me Andy McEwen finished way down the order, but I think drivers must have had penalties coming out of the final corner. Wow, big drama. I think that is confirmed results. Yes, it is. So that's had a huge knock-on effect. Andy McEwen up into 5th place. In fact, I'm having a look at the drivers that lost out. Dave Chapman had a penalty, as did Michael Seal, as did Tom Griffiths to an extent, but he still finished in 4th, ahead of Sam Smith, who also had a slowdown penalty at the end. So big dramas there. James Gluck finishing in 6th place ahead of James Neve, Duncan Cope, Harley Moss, Liam Stimson, Nick Clibbins, Lars Fisher, Julian Schreier, Liam Silkston, Craig McLeod, Ashley Stimson, who comes through into 16th place, and also top of the hours with Fiona Sidden right in behind. She's getting a good turn of pace now at this stage of the championship for her AM category charge. Dave Chapman, you can see, yep, definitely some sort of slowdown penalty. He's dropped all the way down into 18th place, ahead of Michael Seal, Casper DeCourt, Sam Smith, Andy Thompson, Shane Piggott, Brian Stewart, and as well Douglas Stewart, with Glenn Humberston and Simon Robson last of the drivers who have scored points and will be reversed. So it is Simon Robson and Glenn Humberston on the front row for the 3rd race of the evening, with non-finishers being Adam Delmont, Adam Mitchinson, Adam McNally, with Craig Cockrell, Craig Schill and Ryan Main all not scoring points either. Well, big dramas both on the circuit and off the circuit. In fact, actually, we're seeing that some drivers as well ran out of fuel. I think that was the reason why we saw Glenn Humberston so slow. He somehow managed to run out of fuel in that race, which was why we saw the AM class leader dropping out of the points, out of the race.
That's a very strange one for a 15-minute race indeed, but definitely won't make that mistake again. That's all we can say about that, really, isn't it?
Yeah, small consolation, I guess, is that he is on reverse grid pole position. So maybe it was a plan. Maybe he planned it all along.
Cunning.
Oh, dearie me. So with that all out of the way, and with the 2nd race done, we've hit the halfway mark, and that means it's time for us to go for a short break. We'll be back with all of the action here, though, at the Red Bull Ring on Absolute Sim Racing, so be sure to stay tuned.
Cold at the touch, dead in the eyes, no signs of life no more. I put your love under the knife. Leave me to die here all alone. No signs of life no more, no. A crying dove may never fly. Black and white. Just black and white love. Come on, baby. Love, no more, baby. Black and white. Come on, baby. Love, no more, baby. Just black and white. Just let me go. It's only right. For all I know, it's only matter. It's calico. It's black and white. White, white, white. Just let me go. It's only right. For all I know, it's only matter. It's calico. It's black and white. White, white, white. Black and white. Yeah. Black and white. Oh, 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 oh. Just black and white. Black and white.
With changes
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Absolute Sim Racing. What a second race that was. Jason Cooper coming through in sterling fashion to seal another race victory. He's made it 2 from 2. But I think 3 from 3 could be a little out of his reach with a full reverse grid on the cards. That's going to see Simon Robson and Glenn Humberston start on the front row. And see all the cars now getting ready on the grid. Hopefully we can talk you through starting order. We can now. Yes, Simon Robson, pole position ahead of Glenn Humberston with Douglas Stewart 3rd, Brian Stewart 4th, Shane Piggott in 5th place. Keep an eye out for him after getting taken out in that last race. He'll be looking for a good result here ahead of Sam Smith, Casper de Court, Michael Seal, Dave Chapman, Fiona Siddons, Ashley Stimpson, Craig McDonald, Liam Suxton, Julian Schroer, Lars Fisher, Nick Clemens, Liam Stimpson, Harley Moss, Duncan Cope, and James Neve, James Clark, Andy McEwen, Tom Griffiths, Luke Cooper, Lee Holmes, and Jason Cooper close in behind them. We come to Adam Delmont, Adam Mitchelson, Adam McNally, Craig Cockrell, Craig Schill, and Ryan Main. And so the 2 cars that have made their way onto the grid for the 3rd race of the evening here, Alex. And this 3rd one is about to get underway.
Yep, can't wait for this one. Another reverse grid, but a full reverse grid this time. So we're going to see plenty of big movers through the grid like we did in the last race. But I believe we're ready to go here, Ed.
Yes, we do. Simon Robson, watch out for him on pole position, but as well watch out for Shane Piggott starting in 5th. He's going to be very hungry to try and get some success. He bogs down slightly in P5 on the grid. Could be under pressure from the cars in behind as... Well, look at the defensive drive from Glenn Humberston, trying to hold it firm on the middle of the circuit, but around the outside goes Douglas Stewart, slots in behind, focuses on the run up the hill through turn number 2, up towards turn 3. Then actually goes way outside, so maybe covering off Shane Piggott, who's got a much better run. Down the inside, Shane is going to go. He's bogged down slightly off the start line, but coming through, making out a curve into turn 1. Up through turn 2 and into turn 3, he secures P3 for the moment. Oh, there's a bit of an incident in behind, and that looked like an incident that was going on for ages. Sam Smith lost the rear of the car. He's trying to correct it one way, then the other, then one way, then the other. It was almost like a sitcom moment the way he was trying to fight control the wheel. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to get through, and Sam Smith drops down outside of that top 5 spot. We're going to have a look further back because there was as well an incident involving, I think, Lee Holmes. There's contact up in front, you can just about hear it. Lee Holmes comes through, lights up the rear, and then gets a tap at the rear as well from, I'm not sure who that was, I think that was Delmont, just went by.
That's a really unfortunate one there for Lee Holmes, just losing control of the rear end. Couldn't really help it. Oh, there's a big incident back here. Big incident. Cockrell's involved. Jason Cooper seems to be involved.
I think
he
just got through that.
Yeah.
I think Jason Cooper had to slow down massively to avoid his brother Luke Cooper, who was definitely stopped in the worst possible point. I think he's gotten through that scot-free, but obviously losing ground to those cars up ahead. Have a look here just to see what happened to Luke Cooper. And is it cold tyres, just the rear of the car coming around, or is there a bit of a bump? Oh, there's just all of the cars are checking up. I think that's more of a racing incident. Unfortunately, he does get a hit behind. As we see Tom Griffiths actually facing the wrong way out of the final corner. So things have gone on in behind as Shane Piggott, who's then keep an eye out for him. He's all the way up into the lead of the race now.
Yeah, fantastic.
What's gone in the background? James Neve off, as is Fiona Siddons. Oh my words, things have gone on and they've not gone right for the 2 Matthew Statistics drivers. Not good at all. Huge damage. Look at that on Fiona Siddons' car. She's going to have to peel off to the side of the road. She can't bring that to the pit safely.
That is Ryan Main. That's coming out of the final corner. Heavy damage for him. That's race ending. Now this is the James Neve incident going into turn 1. I wonder if there was something that happened up ahead. James Neve goes in. Oh, a big hit from the rear there from one of the Excite cars. Yes. That's
Liam Silkstone. What on earth happened there?
Well,
I hope that wasn't intentional. We'll put that out first and foremost, but it looked like maybe he was trying to brake and then trying to avoid contact going to the outside. Let's have a look here. Follow Liam Silkstone. 114. I think he was just trying to get out of the way more than anything else. If he was going for it deliberately, he would try and monster the car fully. I think he just outbraked himself, realised he wasn't going to make the corner. Instead of going to the inside and risking contact with multiple cars, he tried to get to the outside in time, but unfortunately just clipped the rear end of James Neave.
Yeah, and sadly it turns into a multi-car incident on that turn 1, so it's definitely one the stewards are going to look at later on, and he's probably not going to get away with that, unfortunately. Mistakes do happen in sim racing, but particularly in these big grid, reverse grid races, you definitely need to be on alert, which in these cars, you're focusing so much on the handling of these cars, keeping these cars on the track, getting these cars through the corners as quick as possible. As you can see, a half spin there from Robson. He just about keeps it going. That's exactly what we were talking about. It's so difficult to control these cars sometimes, particularly when you're focusing on other drivers ahead of you, trying to get quicker, looking at drivers behind you. There's a lot to focus on with these MX5 cars, as we see Casper de Court, one of the drivers involved at the front of the grid in race 1, is up into the lead now. Drove past Shane Piggott, seems on the straight, and gets himself into the top spot there, Ed.
Yeah, and if it isn't going to be Jason Cooper winning a race, it's going to be another 5-star motorsport car, and it's going to be Casper de Court coming through into the lead of the race. The driver that was leading the championship, let's not forget, coming into the 7th round, and with a performance like this, if he's able to hold on and carry on into the lead of the race, he could be extending his championship advantage as well. So good stuff from Casper de Court, good awareness as well to come through the field in the way he has. Got a replay here, just looking at Andy McEwen for you on racing. Oh, and he gets a twitch on, and from quite a ways back actually, it's the 444, and then he gets collected with on the exit as well. That was Julian Schroe, who I think was maybe a little bit optimistic going for that move.
Yeah, probably saw the slight mistake from the car ahead and figured, alright, I can get my nose in there and gain the position from this, and it just closed quicker than he thought it would. Really unfortunate. But we're seeing quite a few instances in this race. This is what full reverse grids do. Makes it very exciting for us viewers, as we see back there with a battle going on between Dave Chapman and Lars Fischer approaching turn 1. A good exit from the final corner from Lars Fischer. Chapman running wide a little bit. In fact, no, I think it's Dave Chapman and Simon Robson. Do excuse me. As through goes Dave Chapman on the inside. Oh, a bit of a wiggle of the rear end coming out of the corner there. That loses a bit of momentum. Able to fight back now is the car in the middle there. And on the outside, we have also got, I think it is Chapman joining in the party here. Robson drops no, it is Chapman that drops behind. Robson on the inside here, guarding off from Lars Fischer. And a big acceleration around the outside there. Very close to contact there. That could have turned very messy. But Lars Fischer does very well to gain the position there, up into 5th. 11 places gained for the 5-star motorsport driver there.
Yeah, that's very good racing. They all managed to get through that nice and cleanly. Up in front, Casper de Court still leads from Shane Piggott. Glenn Humberston in 3rd. Cracking stuff from the AM driver. He was put up towards the front of the field on account of the reverse grid, but he's doing an amazing job to stay there as well. Brilliant stuff from the AM man. As we come down to follow Jason Cooper, last season's champion and race winner in race 1 and 2. His progress up through the field. Trying to squabble with Stimpson, forced around the outside, but he just gets such a good drive out of the corner. I think that's something that a lot of people aren't too aware of, is just getting the best drive out of the corners. He might be slower into the corner on the move around the outside, but the way his car just seems to be so stable coming out of the corner allows him to come that little bit earlier and carry that speed as well. But now into the final couple of corners, Jason Cooper with the job to do around the outside. We've seen him make these moves all evening long, but Stimpson is holding firm for the moment, so instead Jason fancies to move down the inside, a little bit of a late lunge, forces Stimpson to go wide around the outside, opens the door as well actually for Lee Holmes, who's going to get a nice bit of slipstream up down into louder curve, but so does, look at McDonald down the inside. Craig McDonald, very distinctive rapid motorsport car, blue and yellow. Oh my word, there's coming together all across there, and look at Luke Cooper. He's on a massive charge. He's going to take in all 3 of these cars up ahead of him now, because he's got such a good run coming up into turn 3.
This trio of Jason Cooper, Luke Cooper and Lee Holmes had a great battle in race 2, and they're continuing on in this race, and joining it is Craig McDonald covering Jason Cooper to the apex. Jason had to back out of it. my God, that was risky indeed from Craig McDonald, but he's determined to hang on to this 18th place here. Well defended going into the hairpin, but great racing from everyone here. Jason Cooper, he's just making it look so easy tonight, and it really isn't that easy to drive these cars, and particularly in this field of very, very well competitive drivers. It's just a masterclass from him tonight. But he's got his hands full right now, right in the midst of a midfield battle here. And we'll revert back to the front as Casper de Court is breaking away a little bit from Shane Piggott here. And the AM category race 1 winner, Glenn Humberston, of course he had run out of fuel in race 2. This is very good redemption for him at the moment. 3rd place overall and romping the AM category in this race so far.
Yeah, definitely having a great time of things up in 3rd place. Just losing touch slightly though with Shane Piggott dropping just out of the slipstream range now, so could be under a lot more pressure as Lars Fischer arrives on the scene. Look at Lee Holmes, he's fighting with Jason Cooper. Jason, who's forced wide, able to hold on, gets a good drive out of the corner. Then into the louder curve, up towards turn 1. Lee Holmes drops back, gets hit with a full face of air because he's not got slipstream to help him out. Instead he needs to focus on squabbling with Luke Cooper, but who's that as Luke round the outside through the louder curve is able to take that position and get up into 20th place. And that's the thing, Jason Cooper's made up some really quick pace through the field, but as soon as he gets in this close battling pack, his progress has been stunted somewhat as again Craig McDonald, great defensive driving to the inside. Jason Cooper tries to go round the outside, gets bumped wide, comes back on the track and gives a bump back just for good measure to Craig McDonald, who drops back down now into 19th place. Jason Cooper taking that place.
Go to a replay of Simon Robson here going through turn 1. Has had an incident apparently. While we're looking at Craig McDonald, there we go, we'll look back to Simon Robson here. A lunge up the inside potentially. Car number 17 we're watching here. Oh, it takes too much of that inside curb and it just unsettles the car and sends him round. And that drops him down to 16th place in the end. Oh, and a very, very unsafe rejoin. Cars did very well to avoid Simon there. And that might be something the stewards look at later on. It might have been more worth Simon just waiting there, waiting for the cars to go by. But resumes with the race down in 16th place. As we revert back to the front here, Glenn Humberston is under pressure from Lars Fischer. 13 places gained for Lars. Fantastic racing. Central Europe driver, up into the top 3 he goes.
Yeah, it's been a good drive so far from Lars Fischer. Can he get ahead? Can he get through on Glenn Humberston? Most importantly, can he then focus on catching up to the cars ahead? The battling pack, or the battling 2 for the lead. No, he isn't able to get through on Humberston on this occasion, but gets a good drive out of the corner. You can see Humberston slightly slower, slightly compromised on the run out. Going very defensive, they're hugging this inside line into turn number 4. Lars Fischer finds the gap, and he's probably going to go for it, you know, he's going to have a car alongside, maybe just a nose in front as they come into the braking zone, as we're just slightly early on account of the shallower line. Humberston, brave as he is able to hold on through, but oh, they're coming together on the exit. Humberston's slow again.
He's blown his engine.
Oh my word. Glenn Humberston, you hardly ever see that. His engine's gone.
Let's get a replay of that. Let's get on board and see if we can hear it. Oh, we're a long way back here, so let's see if we can catch up a little bit. Oh, I can't seem to get on board. Smoke pouring out the rear of Humberston's car there. Drops well down the order, and let's catch up. Is he going to limp it back to the pits? Yes, still smoke gushing out the rear, and it might have been one of those instances where he's changed down too many gears and burst the engine, and what was looking like a very strong race, first in category and very high up in the order overall, scuppered here for Humberston.
Yeah, thankfully for Glenn Humberston, it's pretty much mostly downhill from where he blew the engine to where the pit lane is, so he's able to come through, touch and get it repaired, or maybe not get it repaired, but at least get it safely into the pit lane. Shane Piggott, though, he's been sliding behind Casper de Court now for quite a while, and this is probably one of the closest he's ever been. and he likes to send a move. And he's going to try and go for it, you know, down the inside. But then, on account of that, gets a bad run out of the corner. Casper got very strong indeed. Again, those 5-star motorsport cars, something in their setup seems to work really well coming out of those slow speed corners. The way the car is just settled and just flies out. That's brilliant stuff. And Casper de Court is able to hold on for the moment. You can see the brake discs glowing now. Shows how hard he's having to work the car, work the brakes. And can Shane Piggott find that magic bullet to get into first place?
He's certainly given it a good go, not giving up, and they've broken away from the pack, so there's almost no pressure on these drivers now. They just focus on each other. Very much Verstappen versus Hamilton territory this is. And with 1 minute to go, there'll be one more lap as they pass the white flag at the end of this lap. And it's actually a good mid-lap here for Casper de Court. He's broken away a little bit from Shane Piggott. But as we saw on the previous lap, Shane Piggott is very, very good on those first few corners. Let's see if he gains on these final few here. Additionally to the first sector coming up very shortly through the final corner. There they go. They'll see the white flag on their right. And they'll start the final lap here for the race 3 here at Red Bull Ring Spielberg. We've had one winner tonight. And we might have a new winner after this battle. Who's it going to be? de Court or Piggott?
Shane's going to be so focused on this run out of the Lauda curve, and he does. He gets a very good run right up behind. This is the closest he's been all race, and he's going to go for it down the inside. Casper de Court is going to bank on having such a good run out of the corner. Shane Piggott, what he'll want to do is go in deep, try and cover off the outside, try and force Casper de Court in a switchback manoeuvre that he wasn't necessarily anticipating. Oh, that's a beautiful move, isn't it, from Shane Piggott? But look at Casper de Court. He's right in behind, and he's going to have to go to the outside line. Shane Piggott is not going to give this up so easily. The cars will squeeze each other to the outside to get the best run possible into turn number 4. Around the outside, Casper de Court, he brakes just a touch too late. Shane Piggott down the inside. He tries to secure the lead, but out of the corner, Casper de Court around the outside, carrying the momentum, carrying the speed. He's going to set him up beautifully for the next 2 corners. 2 left-handers. Through the first he goes. Can he secure the lead of the race? He's got through. He's slotted up in front. Shane Piggott now with a good drive out, but can't find a way to the inside. There's only 2 more corners to go. It will be now or never. And I think never will be the answer, because Shane Piggott is dropped 2 tenths back. He can't make that up. He can't find a way through. It'll have to be an absolutely monstrous second to last corner to open up any sort of overtaking opportunity into the final bend. So Casper de Court should be able to come through. Look at how wide they both go through the second to last corner. Casper de Court, the 5-star motorsport, secures another race victory for the team this evening. And it will be an extension of his championship lead here this evening. Wonderful drive from Casper de Court. A great fight between himself and Shane Piggott, who's going to be much happier with that race compared to the race before, where he was unfortunately taken out by David Chapman, who comes through in 3rd place. Let's not forget, a good drive from David, making up plenty of position, making up 7 places on his way through. But I'll tell you what, there's one driver that's had absolutely amazing success, and it has been Adam McNally. 20 places gained so far gained across the entirety of that 3rd race. Amazing stuff, and he managed to just get inside the top 10 at the end of it. Amazing drive.
That's incredible. I haven't seen numbers like that in one race for a very long time. Very impressive from the Excite driver. But take a bow of the top 2, de Court and Piggott. Brilliant battling there, and above all, fair racing. It is great to see. They're just mutual respect for one another, giving each other room, and just having a great battle of it, putting on a great show for us viewers. It is kind of a shame, although, you know, de Court did great to win that. It is quite a shame that Piggott put in such a great move going into turn 2, the hairpin at the top of the hill. And I thought he nailed it there. I thought he secured it there, but it was great, a great comeback from de Court straight after that to get the position back and secure it almost a few corners later. What a great battle from them two. Got a big smile on my face right now watching that.
You and me both, Alex, you and me both. But with the drivers making their way into the pit lane after that 3rd race, we can bring you the reverse grid spinning wheel. Alex, you can let us know who will be, or what number rather will be drawn out for the fourth and final race. Reverse grid pole position.
For the final time tonight, we'll spin the wheel. Plenty of options for the reverse grid, but what's it going to land on? 20. We have a reverse grid of the top 20 finishers from race 3 there. So without further ado,
brilliant stuff. And you know what? Actually, I'll let you do the honors running through the running through the grid order. Keep your eyes on 20th place.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. May. And so the results of race 3, round 7 here at Red Bull Ring of the BSR SIM3D MX5 Trophy. Casper de Court taking a great victory there, just ahead of strong battle with Shane Pigger in second place. Dave Chapman coming through to finish third place with the charging Lars Fischer and Nick Clibbens rounding off the top 5. First of the Pro-Am category, Harley Moss takes 6th overall and first in category of the Am category, 7th overall, but first in category for Ashley Stimpson. Adam McNally promotes to 8th place in the end, with the demise of other drivers due to slowdown penalties at the end of the race there. Takes 8th in the end, so it works out to 22 places gained for Adam McNally. Fantastic racing from the Excite Racing driver. Duncan Cope in 9th place, followed by James Clark, rounding off the top 10. Jason Cooper takes 11th from Tom Griffiths in 12th. Simon Robson, second in the Am category, takes 13th. And rounding off the podium for the Pro-Am category is Sam Smith in 14th overall. Craig Cockrell takes 15th overall, with Craig McDonald in 16th place. James Neve takes 17th place from Liam Silkson in 18th position. Adam Mitchinson in 19th place, followed by Michael Seal, with dramas early on in that race. 21st for Douglas Stewart, followed by Craig Schill in 22nd. Luke Cooper and Lee Holmes take 23rd and 24th, with Brian Stewart in 25th. Liam Stimpson in 26th, followed by Glenn Humberstone, 2 laps down and no points for him. And the same goes for the remaining drivers, DNF from that race. Andrew McEwen, Julian Schroer, Adam Delmont, Fiona Siddons, Ryan Main and Andy Thompson. So there are your results of race 3 here for the BSR MX5 Trophy.
Yeah, and Michael Seal, he'll be very happy to know he's starting on reverse grid pole position. He's had a great time out in the last round, obviously winning driver of the round, but maybe not the best of evenings here at the Red Bull Ring, but they can all be redeemed in this fourth and final race. Plenty of opportunity for drivers to go for that final chance at glory here in Austria. Me and Alex, we're going to go for a short break. We'll be back very soon for all of the action in the fourth and final race here for round 7 of the BSR SIM3D MX5 Trophy. Hello everybody, welcome to Absolute Sim Racing for the final race here in Austria for the 7th round of the SIM3D BSR MX5 trophy. And we've got plenty of action to come, of course, with a 20 reverse grid that should see Michael Seal start from pole position to get his Pro-Am Championship back on track after not having the best first few races. Definitely in a good spot to try and take something out of this 4th and final race, isn't he, Alex? And especially considering a lot of his contenders, Duncan Cope, Lee Holmes, they've been getting stuck in up in front and could be contenders themselves for driver of the round.
I was just thinking exactly the same thing as you mentioned the two names. Yes, they're two names we definitely need to look out for in this race. They've been stuck into the top 10 for much of tonight's racing. It's been great to see. Although these drivers have categories pinned on them, it doesn't stop them from getting their elbows out and getting in amongst the racing with all drivers across the field. It's been great to see tonight. Lee Holmes definitely a contender for driver of the day tonight. Quite a few drivers as well have put on a good show, including Mr. Piggott himself. Adam McNally with the places gained in that last race is certainly a contender. But we're ready to go for the next race, gridding up now. And we'll run through the grid for this next race. Michael Seal will start this race from pole position from Adam Mitchinson in 2nd position. 3rd place will go to Liam Silkstone with James Neve starting 4th position. Craig McDonald in 5th, followed by Craig Cockerell. Sam Smith 7th from Simon Robson. Tom Griffiths will start 9th and rounding off the top 10 on the grid, Jason Cooper. James Clark 11th, followed by Adam McNally. Ashley Stimpson in 13th with Harley Moss in 14th. Nick Klebens in 15th, followed by Lars Fisher in 16th. Dave Chapman 17th, followed by Shane Piggott. Race 3 winner Casper de Court in 19th. Douglas Stewart starts 20th from Craig Schill. Luke Cooper in 22nd. But I'm afraid we're going to have to cut it short on the grid as we are ready to go for this 4th race of the night. On the front row is Michael Seal, followed by Adam Mitchinson, and away we go. It's actually a good start, it seems, from Michael Seal as we approach turn 1 of this 4th race. Into turn 1 we go, and it's a good move around the outside potentially from Liam Silkenston. Round we go, and it's a bad exit from Adam Mitchinson, and that allows Silkenston into 2nd place past the 666 driver, and James Neve hanging it around the outside, looking to get by into 3rd place right away. Craig McDonald, who was quite the headliner in race 3, lining up a move, bump drafting, almost going into the top corner, nearly 3 wide. It is 3 wide as we go into the hairpin between 3rd, 4th and 5th. Wide goes McDonald there. Let's see if any other drivers fall victim to the tight turn 2 that is the hairpin at the top of the hill here at Red Bull Ring Spielberg. They all seem to get away relatively well coming out of the corner there. Michael Seal leads, and coming into turn 3, it's a big gaggle of cars approaching the corner.
There's contact. McDonald's got spun round. McDonald, there was a move far too late into the corner. I'm not sure who it was that tagged into the back of him, but it just looked a little bit too opportunistic, a little bit too much taken into the corner. And it was the 666, unfortunately, that comes to contact with Craig McDonald. That is, unfortunately, Adam Mitchinson.
Oh, big
and
incident.
There's a huge pile up there coming out of turn 5. What on earth was going on there? Ryan Main taking off a trip into the kitty litter, getting less than safely out of the way. Andy McEwen, you can see going down the inside of the other Year 1 car, I think has got through that relatively cleanly. But there's yet more incidents going on. There's a wheel flying off of Luke Cooper, and he was already involved in the incident to begin with as Brian Stewart got caught up, as did, I think that might have been Lee Holmes involved.
This is not a good start to this race. I did wonder if a caution would come out at any point, but we can see the 6-6 guy over Ryan Main. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. No, that's definitely not going anywhere, Ryan. Sadly, a race end for himself. The show goes on, though. Still a lot of battling in the mid-pack here. Oh, and there's a spin in the mid-pack. That's Craig Cockerell. He spun right in the middle of everyone there. There's a lot of damage on all of these cars in the mid-pack here. And we can see limping off in the side there is Craig Cockerell. He's got a wheel hanging off, mirror hanging off. The front bumper is scraping along the ground, and he's going to limp it back to the pits, see if he can get himself repairs. But there's quite a lot of damage on that MX5 right now. Wow, what a dramatic start to this race, Ed.
Yeah, very, very dramatic. I want to see if we can get Very clear view of all of those incidents unfolding. There was so much going on, wasn't there? Drivers having to take evasive action one way, then the other, left, right, centre. So much happening. This fourth and final race is exploding into life, and I think cars have exploded themselves off the track. Bits flying every which way, and the other is down the inside. We see Clibbins going for a move on Clark for 6th place. And you know what? I think he's been able to just get that position done. He's going to be around the outside into the next corner, but he's going to have just enough of the car in front that he should be able to secure that position, which he does. So Clibbins up into 6th place. James Clark down to slot back in behind. But the race isn't over yet. There's still plenty more to come. Seal leads the race though at the moment, ahead of James Neve, with Leo Silkstone and Adam McNally, 2 Excite Racing drivers, close in behind.
And Adam McNally, one to keep an eye on from race 3. Big charge through the field to gain. Was 20 positions, promoted to 22 places gained, with the demise of other drivers falling victim to the slowdown penalty on the final corner there, on the final lap. The 4th place for McNally. Let's see how he'll get on in this race. In the pro category here, he's up against James Neve, up ahead in 2nd place under a little bit of pressure from Liam Silkstone. Let's see how much this battle amongst the top 3 materialises. Casper de Court, winner of race 3, up into 11th place at the moment. He's managed to pave his way through all the drama so far. 8 places gained to 11th. Adam Delmont is the biggest gainer so far. He's managed to find his way through the carnage. 19 places gained to 10th place at the moment for the Excite Racing driver. Excite Racing have definitely been taking their energy drinks tonight. Seems to be on fire tonight, all of them are. Where's our race 1 winner? Can't quite see it. In fact, our race 1 winner, Jason Cooper, is out of the race, rather unfortunately. 26th and in the pits. There's a lot of drivers in the pits. In fact, I think there's only 20 cars running, Fiona Siddons being the 20th of them, and that is 11 cars out of the race at the moment. That is a big loss of drivers.
I'll tell you what, that is potentially massive for the championship, as Casper de Court, driver who's currently leading the way, is definitely going to be pleased about that news. Currently sitting in 12th place with a little damage done to the front of his car. You can see him just in behind Andy McEwen, who's made up 16 places so far this race.
Having a good night, stuff. McEwen is.
Yeah. McEwen is, yeah, like you say, he's had a good night. He obviously was involved in an incident in that 3rd race, but he's bouncing back rather nicely.
Absolutely, yeah, and this race, testament to that, as we see Adam Delmont gain another place on Adam Mitchinson. See if we can get a replay of that. We actually can. Replay off the move. It seems Mitchinson was running slow on the outside there, a little bit of damage on the car there, so probably was thinking of letting the car by just to get himself to the end. Here's Mitchinson. Another place gained for Adam Delmont. Great racing for him tonight.
Another good drive as well, actually. Another good evening, actually, for Tom Griffiths, up into 14th place. He's definitely been up towards the front of the field in pretty much nearly every single race, hasn't it, Tom? Currently with a lot of damage, though, done to the front of his car. Unfortunately, he's just going to be going backwards from now on out, holding on to 15th place is, I think, the best he can realistically try and achieve. But with that amount of damage dealt to the front of your car, you're going to be slow in a straight line, which is the one thing you don't want to have here at the Red Bull Ring, is any sort of straight line top end deficit.
Yeah, it's something that iRacing have been really perfecting over the last few months or so, is how much damage impacts the car's straight line speed. And you see Tom Griffiths is fighting back, but yeah, how much the car is damaged. And these MX5s actually have one of the best damage models in iRacing right now. You can see mirrors hanging off some of these cars. It's that detailed. And it really does affect the grip of these cars, the tracking of these cars it also affects, and also the aerodynamics. You see Tom Griffiths here really struggling for straight line speed, and I think Piggott might be as well, with a little bit of damage on his front. But this is something that these MX5 drivers really have to contend with. It's the damage model iRacing have implemented. See, up in the top 3, Adam McNally now peeling off to go for a move on James Neve. This will be for the second spot on the podium. Top spot still held by Michael Seal, but on the inside is Adam McNally, charging towards what might be a win for him in this race. See how he gets on, but second place is his for now. Brilliant move from Adam McNally. Into the top 2 spot he goes. Silverstone and Smith head to head on this main straight. More Excite drivers getting excited here. Has the outside for the next corner, the hairpin. And on the inside is Sam Smith, much later on the brakes. In fact, I might think right in thinking Silverstone might have let go of Smith there to get behind, perhaps use the slipstream of Smith to catch up with the drivers up ahead. Clemens also looking to get by the number 5, the 5th place car. Looking to the outside, and up front here, there was contact between Seal and McNally. Into the corner they go, and McNally holds the inside. I think he got it just about on the inside and was nearly on the grass. It's very close between them as they go around the curve here, and this is a move for the lead potentially for McNally. He has the outside. Seal definitely has the better line of the two. They go.
Look at that, they're squabbling together, aren't they, Alex? This is so close. Michael Seal trying as he might to hold the inside line, but can't for the moment, and that opens the door wide for James Neve to find a way through the inside line, down into the next couple of corners, the final 2 of this lap.
Oh no, 3 wide.
I think going 3 wide actually saved Seal there. It meant that James Neve backed out of it, as did Sam Smith. The bravery was what really helped Michael Seal. They're carrying the momentum around the outside. Well, only 9 minutes gone in this race. It's been action-packed from start till now, and I reckon this will carry on right up until the checkered flag drops. This is shaping up to be a brilliant fight, isn't it? Watch out as well for Clark and Delmont. They're going to try as the best they can to make their way up through the field. Delmont, who, let's not forget, has had an amazing race. 21 positions. He can see the potential for something really special coming through here in the final 5 minutes.
Well, it's definitely broken the record of McNally's forever forward achievement from race 3. McNally goes to defend the inside though for Michael Seal, and Michael Seal runs wide. That gives Sam Smith the opportunity to undercut coming out of the hairpin. By the way, Sam Smith, a brave move on turn 9 on the previous lap, but isn't able to keep it on the inside of Michael Seal. They come down the hill here. McNally reverts to defending, 3 wide again as we approach turn 3, and I thought for a minute that Michael Seal was closing the door on Smith, but he wasn't. He was ahead. Bad perception on the camera there. And someone running wide back there. I think that's Silverstone as he comes back on the track. No real big drama, but drops a few places and drops a bit of time. Back at the front, McNally brushes wide a little bit. It's understeered a little bit. He might have used his tyres too early in this race, but he keeps it going in first place.
He does. He's weather in the storm, though. Sorry, Alex.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say, well, if you're watching on YouTube, who's going to win this race? Let us know in the comments, because I can't figure it out right now.
No, I don't either. I don't do much better at talking about what's happening rather than speculating on what might, as Nick Clibbins holding on into 4th place, keeping James Neve at bay. He's also probably trying to think about maybe getting ahead of his teammate Sam Smith up the road, but Sam is more preoccupied with the rear end of Michael Seal and making sure he doesn't have to look at that too much longer, as down the inside into the first corner he goes, hard on the brakes, committed to the inside. Michael Seal backs out of it, concedes position, focuses on the drive out of the corner instead, and as well realises that by fighting that position, they will all lose track. So Adam McNally in front, it's much better to allow the move to go ahead and then let Sam Smith do all the hard work in trying to pass Adam McNally.
Oh, this is great racing. Sam Smith is on a mission. Look at him. The SimTech racing car on the outside. Oh, he was trying an undercut, but straight back up the inside goes Michael Seal. Absolutely denies Smith the undercut there, and McNally is saved potentially. He breaks clear a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that gap is going to close it. It's so intense between all these drivers right now. Clibbins in 4th place there is taking a look for the 3rd place man, Michael Seal. Seal defends, closes the move, and back here we've also got 5th and 6th in a battle with one another. Adam Delmont with 23 places gained now as he just pips over into 6th place. 23! Incredible driving from Adam Delmont tonight.
Oh, so much going on, isn't there? There's a lot of action, a lot of dramas occurring. Adam McNally holding on for the moment, for the time being. But I tell you what, McNally, he's going to be in with a huge job to keep all these cars behind now. Sam Smith looking to the outside line, Michael Seal pushing along McNally into the second to last corner. They will fight too wide, they will slow each other down through the final corner, which will give Adam McNally a bit of breathing space. But look at that around the outside. Sam Smith, what a race he's having. Brilliant stuff. And that's opened the door, actually, because of how slow Michael Seal was out of the corner. Really, his teammate Nick Libbins is going to go for a move down the inside of Michael Seal. I doubt he's going to be so kind in letting this move go ahead. Look at how close they are. They almost touch. How on earth did they get through that clean? They both squeezed each other.
Look at Clark. Look at Clark. Go.
Yeah, Clark is going for it, but he's going to get hit with a wall of air, and unfortunately, he's going to get slowed up into the braking zone of turn 3. He's going to go around the outside if he can. Meanwhile, Sam Smith going for the lead, hard on the brakes around the outside, then going for a switchback manoeuvre, which doesn't work out for him, but the drive out of the corner is definitely there. The gap now under 0.2 of a second, nearly under 1/10 of a second after that. And now onto the brakes into turn 4. Who's going to come out on top? You can see Sam Smith forced to the outside line by Adam McNally, but he's brave, he's committed. He's going to go for it, isn't he? Looking through. We see drivers get very good runs out of the corner, but I think McNally's able to hold Sam Smith at bay just for the time being. It's just a brilliant defensive drive that we're seeing from McNally, but how long will it last?
Good question. And actually this race has flown by. I just looked at the time and went, oh my word, there's only 1 minute remaining, which means we're going to start the final lap very, very shortly. So this is going to get even more intense between these drivers. McNally leads with a masterclass in defending right now, but Sam Smith has presented a masterclass in overtaking around the outside in this race. Great risky overtaking from Smith in this race, and this final lap is going to be a corker, Ed.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely count on that. So the final lap is getting underway now. You can see the white flag being waved for the drivers now. It will greet Adam McNally first as he starts the final lap, but look at how close Sam Smith is into the first corner. He will go for the final time this evening. And look at how early the car turns in from Sam Smith. Gets a decent run out. And just, they're going to have to fight so firmly, so hard as well. Michael Seal might fancy a move following these two squabbling together. You can see he's probably hedging his bets. Just look at them smashing doors, coming together. This is it, the final lap of the final race. There's no chance for drivers to give each other any quarter. Michael Seal is going to be rubbing his hands with glee. Go on, lads, keep this fight up and maybe I can snatch a win. Oh my word, McNally there, down the inside, into turn number 4. Sam Smith again is going to try and hang it around the outside. He's going to be much more committed, much more brave than he has ever been if he wants any chance. And look at that, he's collected. Comes to contact with Michael Seal and he drops out. Heartbreak for Sam Smith. And there's a spin in the background. Silkstone and Robson coming together. McEwen snatched his 9th place at the death. And Adam McNally now needs to worry about Michael Seal. Can Michael mount a charge in the final few corners? There's only a little while left to go. He needs to set this up beautifully, but he can't do it. He drops back 0.3 the gap. So McNally will have an uncontested run through the final 2 turns, and he will greet the checkered flag in the lead of the race. Michael Seal, what a drive it was from him. Fought bravely, fought valiantly, but just couldn't fight hard enough to take the lead of the race. So Adam McNally comes through, rounds out of the final corner, will greet the checkered flag and take the final race victory over here at the Red Bull Ring. An amazing drive, such a defensive masterclass that he provided us with in that final race. Adam Delmont, and you can just be lost for words with Adam Delmont's performance. Amazing drive, coming up 26 places. It's a shame that the other 2 races he had where he did not finish weren't the greatest, because otherwise he would have definitely been a contender for driver of the round. But that's definitely a way to round out your evening, Adam Delmont, making up 26 places, shooting up the order. And as well, plaudits have to go to Andy McEwen. We saw him take 9th place on the final lap. 18 places gained as well. much, much better for Andy McEwen in that fourth race compared to the third.
Oh, it's been fantastic racing tonight. That final race was just superb. A defensive masterclass from Adam McNally at the end there. Contact between Michael Seal and Sam Smith at the end there. I'm going to trawl back through and see if I can find the replay of that, because that was a very, very interesting incident between those drivers. I think I've got it here. Let's see if this was the...
there we go.
It was.
So two of them squabbling together. Well, that was actually on the lap
I
before.
think that was the lap before, yeah. Let's see what we can find. Okay, we're going to watch it from the hairpin. But look how close that was between McNally and Smith coming out of that corner there. But it's the next corner we're keeping an eye on. We'll go above to check it out. Oh, and actually it was Seal break. Went a little bit deep into that corner, and
I think, yeah, you can... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say the contact was almost inevitable, as Seal just seemed a little bit too late on the brakes, in my opinion there. I think Smith was entirely a passenger in that. It seemed a bit deceptive from our angle during the race, though.
Yeah, I think as well, if we have a look at that again, it was partly down to Michael Seal. He could see a move on the inside, he went for it. Whereas I think Sam Smith was going for a switchback manoeuvre, but from that angle, it does look like Sam Smith is going for a switchback manoeuvre, but well, Michael Seal is already occupying that inside line. Sure, Michael Seal does come a bit deep. We'll have a look from this aerial shot once again. Watching the cars come together, this time on board with Michael Seal. We'll be able to tell if he does just overshoot it a bit, or if it is more down to perhaps Sam Smith going for that cut back and both arriving just at the same bit of track. You see, it doesn't look too bad from Michael Seal. He leaves a bit of room on the apex, but it isn't like he massively outbrakes himself.
Yeah.
I think it is probably, unfortunately for Sam Smith, just a racing incident that he came out worse off on, because Michael Seal opting for the inside line, trying to capitalise if there was any coming together between maybe McNally and Smith. Sam Smith was then instead opting for the cutback manoeuvre to get the best run into turn 5, but it didn't work out that way, unfortunately. But still, what a race that was, and we can have confirmation now of the finishing order for the fourth and final race of the evening. Adam McNally coming out as the race victor by less than 0.2 of a second. Very fine margins indeed separating himself and Michael Seal, who comes in second place, also taking top honours in the Pro-Am division. Stuff from him with Adam Delmont. What a drive that was from him, making up 26 places, the most position gained by any driver this evening in the 777 XI iRacing car, to join his teammate on the podium in third place. James Clark finishing in fourth, ahead of Nick Clibbins, James Neve, Simon Robson, who comes through in the AM class to take a very well-earned class victory, ahead of Andy McEwen, who does end up finishing 8th and makes that 19 places gained at the end of affairs this evening. Cracking stuff from Andy, ahead of Adam Mitchinson and Craig Schill, 10th overall and 2nd in the AM class, ahead of 3rd in the AM class, 11th overall, Glenn Humberston. Then we come down to Liam Silkstone and Liam Simpson, 12th and 13th, 2nd and 3rd in the Pro-Am class, ahead of Casper de Court, Brian Stewart, Tom Griffiths, Shane Piggott, Ashley Stimpson, Sam Smith, who unfortunately, after that incident, seemed to have picked up a slowdown somewhere and dropped all the way down into 19th place from 2nd. Still finishes though ahead of Fiona Sims, and then several drivers caught up in incidents. You can see them all on your screens now. They have been classed as non-finishers and will score 0 points, which is big for the championship, especially considering Jason Cooper was looking to try and mount a championship defence. That has really hampered his championship hopes, I think. But of course, there's still a long way to go in this season. But we do have as well, actually, Alex drivers waiting in the wings in the interview waiting room. So we should be able to bring in a driver. And do you know what? Let's have a chat with race 4 victor, Adam McNally.
Good evening.
Hello, Adam. Good to hear from you. That was a cracking drive, making up 11 places and having an amazing defensive drive, keeping Michael Seal and Sam Smith at bay. That must have been very, very welcome seeing that checkered flag at the end.
Especially coming into that hairpin, I heard it was just a bit contact just between them two. And that, it just gives us that little bit of breathing space for the last few corners. Yeah, mid-race. But it did made up for the night I've had all night, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it hadn't been the best of evenings for you, but you definitely made up for it, as did your teammate as well, Adam Delmont, again coming up through the field. You Excite boys like to give us exciting races, don't you?
Yeah, I thought I'd got a good with 30th to 8th in race 3, but then Delmont to get 29th to 3rd just to do much better. I almost swear all that, but it's live, so I can't.
We were saying that you two have been holders of the Forever Forward Award pretty much all season long. You don't tend to start too high up the order, but oh my word, what is it about just maybe your car setup or the way to drive that allows you to get yourself up through the order so quickly?
See, I've had a shocking 4 weeks of qualifying. I just can't seem to find where I can get a clean lap. Like tonight, I got one lap and it was right at the end where I had 1x, so I ran into traffic. And by that time, my tyres are dead and I'm not getting up where I feel like I should be. So then race 1 I tend to make a couple of places up. But race 2 when I was in the lead and I just lost it. Honestly, couldn't believe that.
Yeah, we saw, was that just cold tyres in the end?
I don't know, the car just snapped and I thought I had it, and then third rotation the wheel, it was like it was gone. There was just no saving it at that point.
But you salvaged some very good points at the end, 100 points to your name of course with that race victory, and of course focus shifting to the championship. Do you reckon the fight could be on later on with drop rounds coming in?
I hope so, because I think this is probably the second worst round I've actually had. So hopefully this will be a drop round, and the other, I think it was week 2 or 3. So hopefully I'll be somewhere near or thereabouts.
Yeah, I know you came into this as the driver in 3rd place in the championship. I think you've actually moved up into 2nd now because, of course, one of your championship rivals, James Clark, didn't have the best of races, as did Lars Fisher as well, who didn't finish. So, you know what? The championship's still on, mate.
Oh, definitely. It should be a good end of the season.
Yeah, cracking stuff, mate. Looking forward to seeing you out and about next week, of course, when we go to Spa-Francorchamps. Is that a track you think you can get a good result from?
Hopefully we just have to work on the central bit. We seem to be struggling in straight line. Me and Delmont both noticed it. When we're in draft, the cars in front they still seem to creep ahead. But as soon as they're on the back of us, they just pull up so quick. And we just think it's got to be somewhere in the setup we've got wrong. So we're going to have to work on it ready for Spa.
Could be worth looking into indeed. Well, we'd hope to see you guys up towards the front of the field yet again, and hope to see you having yet more amazing drives up through the field. Maybe though without so many incidents, Adam.
Definitely, like I said, it's been a pretty much terrible round for me tonight, apart from race 4.
Yeah, mate. But before we say goodbye to you, mate, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to on the broadcast?
Yeah, just usual, everyone who does all the work behind the scenes. Big shout out to Alex, it's been a long time since I've seen him.
Yeah. Get yourself back on race room so I can give you a whooping, Adam.
I like the install of the game. Big thank you to Edward as well for commentating every week. And a big shout out to my teammates for taking part, Liam and Belmont.
No worries. Glad to be a part of the BSR furniture, mate. You're not going to be getting rid of me so easily, Adam. And of course, yeah, good to see you and Alex back still. Good friends as always. But thank you as well, Adam. We'll wish you all the best next week. We'll let you go off and celebrate with your teammates.
Thank you very much.
So, exiting the commons, what goes Adam McNally. But we can now bring in a driver that's definitely had a very up and down, topsy-turvy evening. Arlie Moss joins us in the comms box, and Arlie, that was a very tumultuous evening, I think is the right word to use for how the day has gone so far overall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've had a change of emotion in my life so quick. From literally the end of race 3, winning my first Pro-Am, getting my first Pro-Am win, literally was sat here in my chair, fist bumping to the moon and back. And then, not even more, 10 minutes later, I'm sat in pit lane, head in hands, thinking like, how has that even happened? And watching it back, I think you guys showed a couple of replays, just like randomly of the incidents, and I watched it back and I saw it was the slightest bit of contact, but I think it ripped my front left wheel off.
Yeah, and especially when you're at a high-speed circuit, tiny contact at speed or even not at speed, iRacing can be very, very unforgiving at times. Just a touch in the wrong place, unfortunately, is what's seen you retire from the race, Harley. But of course, going back to the race you were just talking about, when you got your Pro-Am victory, that must have been some very sweet, sweet victory celebrations after the line.
Oh, well, like I was saying, I was literally fist bumping to the moon. I think if I'd fist bumped any harder, I'd probably damage my other arm.
Yeah, of course. Still driving wounded. How is the arm?
It's getting better. I mean, I can actually fully control the car now. It's still painful, but I'm able to fully control the car now. And if anything snaps loose, I'm able to catch it a bit easier. Still being a little bit sort of soft on it. Still got a bit of a slightly lower force feedback, but I'm just sort of forcing it back to health now because I know I can get the wins in my class, and at times I feel like possibly I'm going to be able to challenge on the overall win. So I'm just sort of forcing myself to full strength so that I can get up there before the end of the season and hopefully continue to mount a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, having a look at the standings so far, you have actually, even through your tumultuous evening, made some gains in the championship after meeting 7. You are second in the championship, right behind Craig Cockrell. So it's all to play for. You're only about 68 points back. Game on, mate.
It certainly is. I mean, I was looking at it before the start of the race. The team owner wanted to know how it was going. I think I started the week 144 points back from Craig, so to be only 68 points back now is a great result. Obviously, would have been even better if I hadn't got involved in an incident in race 4, because I think, if I'm correct, Craig didn't finish either. So that could have given me a nice big chunk of points towards him.
Yeah, it definitely did, mate. And of course, as a driver that started the season as an AM driver, you weren't too confident about being moved up to Pro-Am, but I think now, if you weren't certain now, you're definitely certain here after this round that it's where you belong.
I mean, yeah, no, I do agree. I do belong here. I would love to still be in that AM class, just with a nice, big, chunky lead. Knowing that I could just take my Mondays a little bit more chill, not have to sort of push myself so I'm almost sitting here sweating in my chair. But that's what we all come to race. We come to race hard. We all come to race clean, and hope we get the best out of it. And sometimes it doesn't go our way, unfortunately.
Yeah, and one final question. Next week, come to Spa-Francorchamps. Do you reckon you can get another class win there? You've had your first here. Do you think you can get a bit of a purple patch going?
I mean, I hope so. It seems to be whatever track on iRacing I go to that is a track on F1, because I used to play quite a lot of F1 before coming over to iRacing. I seem to do well, whether it's in iRacing officials or in any leagues. They seem to be sort of not my forte, because I wouldn't say I have a forte at any specific track. I'm not the best at any of them. I just go out there, try and put on the best laps I can and just hope, sort of thing. But with it being an F1 based track, I've got a bit of experience around there, so hopefully we can get another 1 or 2 class wins again.
Yeah, definitely. We'll look forward to seeing you there, mate. Round 8, Spa-Francorchamps. It's going to be a cracker. And before we say goodbye to you, you mentioned your team boss. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to on the broadcast?
Yeah, so the same as every week. Sequential Sim Sport and Evicted Esports. The Evicted guys power us each week, not only in the BSR MX5 Cup, but also in the other leagues the team do. And then just the owners of Evicted, so Luke Coggett, trying to find the other guys' names quickly. Tom is our head of partnerships. He's doing a lot of work behind the scenes currently, trying to get us a lot of sponsors, which I can't announce at the moment, but we have got stuff in the works, so hopefully you should see some new paints and new names on the car in the coming weeks, hopefully.
As long as it's as distinctive as your current livery, we'll be glad to see anything new that you guys at Country of Sim Sport and Evicted Esports can bring out to the forefront. Thank you
That's
Very
all right.
much.
No worries. Obviously, believe me, if we get any new names on the car, it'll be just as prominent as it is now with Cody working behind the scenes on the paint scheme.
Cracking stuff, Harley. Thank you and congratulations on your first ever Pro-Am victory. Hope to see you on similar form at Spa.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.
And Alex, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this evening. I'll let you go through with any final thoughts after what has been an amazing race evening here at the Red Bull Ring.
Oh, you said the word. You said the word. Amazing. This is what a debut to my BSR commentary career, I'll call it. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. A lot of drivers stood out tonight for me. It's hard to pick out one that really stepped up above because there's 4 races throughout the night. It's you do get some drivers, getting bad luck in one and then great luck in another, and Harley nailed it on the head. 1 minute you're fist pumping, the next minute you're not. It's just the way that these big grid races work. But it's fantastic for us viewers, and we've seen a lot of drivers. The ones that really stood out for me tonight are the ones that come through the pack from a long way back, like Adam Delmont, Adam Canali, Casper de Court. Plenty of drivers out there. It was great to watch tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope all the fans watching on YouTube did as well.
Yeah, I think for me, I might give driver of the round to probably either Adam Delmont or Adam McNally for their amazing choice of the field. And I think just on balance of how that last race was, the defence he put in, we've got to give it to Adam McNally, don't we? He's had some good races, made up 20 positions, didn't he, in the third race of the evening, and then made up 11 on his charge up to take the race victory. So I think we can both be in agreement there, Alex. Adam McNally, driver of the round.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. With 22 places gained in the third race and a win in the final race. What a fantastic night for him. And he was describing it as a bad night. I was just thinking, come on, Adam. But yeah, he's... No, that was stunning. If that was a bad night for him, I can't wait to see other races from him down the line.
Yeah, definitely. So with that, with all of the action now behind us, we can look forward to the 8th round of the BSR SIM3D MX5 trophy at Spa-Francorchamps. Same time, same place on Absolute Sim Racing. If you have enjoyed all the action here at the Red Bull Ring, make sure to give us a like, follow, and subscribe. All of that wonderful stuff here at Absolute Sim Racing. We'll be sure to repay you with plenty more exciting sim racing broadcasts. We've also got GT3 action upcoming tomorrow, and then the Radical Race Series on a Thursday. There's plenty of stuff in the pipelines that you will not want to miss. I've been Ed May. Joining me in the commentary box has been the wonderful Alex Everett on the cameras as well. All that's left to say from me and Alex, it's a goodbye. Take care. Most importantly, stay safe.